Hello everybody, welcome to a new tutorial from Sound for More. It's Leo speaking. Today we continue the journey on exploring how to use strokes. Before I continue, I would like to remind my viewers to subscribe as it helps with growing the channel. Thank you very much. Okay, so today we are going to discuss the four sequencer channels which you can find up here on the main view under the sequencer view, as you can see at the bottom here, sequencer view. So how do they work? Well, first of all, they are exactly the same, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you can see they are different in terms of what the channel that they drive. So the first one will be channel 1, the second channel 2, and so on up to channel 4. Okay. So when you learn how to use one of them, of course, you know how to use all of them. So simple as that. So the first thing I want to do, and I will explain that in much more details in one of the upcoming tutorial. I'm going to click on voices here. I'm going to channel number 1. I'm going to select analog and I'm going to increase the values here on square. And then I'm going back to the sequencer so that you can hear some of the steps that we will include in that first channel. Okay, so you have four different parameters here to start with. So the first one, they work exactly all the same. So you click and hold, then you move up and down with your finger or your mouse, if indeed you're using one. Click and hold, move up. You can see it is increasing the number of steps. In the middle here, you have the number of steps available. Okay, so the moment you say 13th, you can go down to whatever you like, down to number 1, and then you continue to go up to 32, right? So, and if you double click, it goes back to a default of 16th, okay? The beauty is that, of course, you can use different number of steps for different channels, and then you can create polyrhythms, and of course, that becomes really helpful, particularly if you have also different speeds at which you're running through the steps. Next, here you have a loop. Okay, so let's say, for example, that we set a loop of 4. We click play here inside the UM, and you will see that it will play only the first 4 steps, even though you have 16 steps available. And as you can see, the other channels are running in normal mode. So again, we modify only the setting for that channel. So again, if I was to insert some step like so, just click on it, it will play only the first 2 because of the first 4 steps which are set here on the loop. Okay, perfect. Now, you can select steps here, which is, when you do that, you move in step mode, and the default is Euclidean mode, and I will explain that in a moment. And it remembers also the setting. If I go back to steps here, you can see that it still remembers the step that you have created. And of course, if you click on the step, again, you remove the step. But let's continue. So then you have this parameter here, which is a shift. And you can always find the description up here. So if I move down here, it says channel 1 shift, okay? And I come back to these in a moment. And then you have this parameter here, which is only available in Euclidean mode. So in Euclidean mode, it just tried to put steps in a equal division within the steps that are available. So let's say that I want to have only 1 step active on 16th. It will be on the first one. Let's say I want to have 2. It will create an equal division between the 2. 3. Again, because it's an odd number, not even, of course, the last one will have 5 muted step. But if you go to 4, again, you have an even division. Okay, so that is how Euclidean mode works. As I said, if you go to step mode, it's different. This parameter becomes not available, and then you can click and set the step as you like manually. Okay, so let's go back to Euclidean mode. So let's go back to the shift parameter. If you click and hold and move, it will start to shift the position of those steps, which again become really handy as you create your rhythms. Okay, so that is the shift parameter, 0 up to, of course, the shift you desire. Okay, 31. Okay, next we have a direction here. So in this case, moving to the right. So, and you can move backwards, so forward or backwards, and then forward or backwards, like a ping pong mode. So let's try. Forward. Actually, let me reset this loop into 16 so it plays all the different, throughout the 16 steps available, okay? And also let me mute in. Here you have a on-off button. If you click on it, it becomes off. It's practically muting the channel. So let's click play. You can see he's moving in forward motion. When he gets to the last step, it restarts. If I select this option, he's moving backwards. And when he gets to the first step, it restarts from number 16th. And then, of course, a combination of the two. Forward and then backwards, and then restart forward and backwards. So that is really straightforward. Again, let's reactivate this channel. Next, you have division or rate. So at the moment it's playing on 1/16th notes, but you can set it to 1/8 and 1/4. So let's try. And again, it becomes really interesting as you have multiple channels running. Next, you have a selection of octaves. So you can go up an octave or you can go below an octave. So let's try. Perfect. We have seen already the on and off button, which works as a muting for the channel, and then you have inversion at the top. So where you have a step active, it will deactivate that, and where you have steps which are not active, it will activate those, which can be really useful if you want to, for example, like in this case, listen to that particular channels and that particular patterns if you wanted, for example, to have more steps active, like so. Okay, perfect. So this is how you use the sequencer channel, the first one, and in a similar way, you can apply the same concept on the other three channel 2, 3, and 4. Now, something that I haven't mentioned is that you see the note here for each of the channel. So here it says C1, C#1, D1, D#1, right? So let's say that I want to activate the second channel and I want to play some steps. First of all, let's set some voices here. Let's go for a sampler, because indeed you can actually have a sampler, which is really nice. And again, I will explain that in a future tutorial. We select a piano note and we give it a little bit more decay there. And let's go back to the sequencer now. And let's put some steps actually only on this step active on the first channel and this one, the last step active on the first channel, okay? Now, I don't want to play a C#1. I want to play a D#1. So I'm trying to mimic, for example, a third minor of a C minor chord. So how do I change the C# minor? Well, okay, so that one, I go here on the left panel. It says channel 2, C#1, click on it. And then we go and select the right key here on the keyboard, click close. So we have D#1, which is active there. Let's play. So you can continue like so and use the remaining two channels. And then, of course, you can play, as I said, with direction, with rates, and so on. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. See you next time. Bye.